Hello there, Josefine Luthardt. How are you today?
Hi,
Ha.
Hi, Angie. Guten Tag. Bonjour. Hey, hey. Namaste. Grüezi.
Oh, it's beautiful that you can speak so many languages. You have been
Thank you for having
on a
me.
long journey. I think that you're going to talk us through in a moment. But before we talk about your journey, maybe you want to tell me a bit more, and our viewers as well, about a fun fact about you.
Sure, I would love to do that, Angie. So, a fun fact most people don't know about me is that for many years I've been singing in several a cappella choirs around Germany as a hobby after work. And two of them won the first prize of German choir championships. And most people don't even know there are such things like championships where choirs are being given a repertoire of different songs and they compete against each other, and everybody's very excited and very happy. It's a real team effort. And yeah, we were very surprised having these first prizes, performing in front of 1,500 people in a big opera house and standing on stage. Now I feel like there are some different elements, but many similarities to being a trainer and being on stage and changing locations. And I guess you can relate to this standing on stage and being full of adrenaline.
Yeah, I do. Also, not many people know that I actually am a singer. It's a secret that I'm going
Oh.
to share now with you. So I haven't performed in a long time, but there's a video of me where I'm singing for somebody's birthday.
And it is online.
Yeah, you know, I have
Okay,
no shame. I put everything online.
perfect.
Yeah, so that is cool. I wasn't aware that there's a competition for a cappella bands, but that's pretty cool. How many people are you in that band?
It totally depends the range. Small choirs are 12, 13 people. We have big choirs as well with 30 people. So everybody needs to be online and knowing their performance and all these small details. It's a big group event, actually.
Ah, fantastic.
Mhm.
And now you already made the connection between, performing, being on stage, having a voice, and being a trainer, coach, professional. Now, can you tell us a bit more about your why? What is your deeper drive? Where does this come from?
So I'm working as a trainer, in-house trainer, and people developer. So regarding your question, actually, I have two answers. The broader horizon is working with human relationships, working in people and culture, right? This is what we have in common. And I think this makes me humble and excited at the same time because I feel relationships are very crucial for our physical and emotional well-being. Yeah, that's basically how mankind survived.
Mhm.
Um, we know from Martin Seligman's positive psychology. We also know from Harvard study of adult development, which is ranging for more than 80 years now, how important relationships are to us. They have consequences on our health and happiness. They are more important than nutrition and exercises. Oh my God, I see so many people going to the gym. Yeah. But if you set this into relation, how important human relations are to us and to our happiness and wealth. So I think we should emphasize more on connections with each other. Also in working environment, why don't we do it more? And that's my task because I feel like spending time with colleagues sometimes is more time than spending time with our families at home. So I want to, yeah, raise awareness for this topic. And I know that we all live in our social bubbles. So I try to break free from my bubbles. For example, when I'm in lunchtime in my office in a cafeteria, I try to sit at different seating tables, trying to talk to other people, to not recreate like my own subjective self-beliefs and principles, just being around like-minded people. That's very comfortable, but it's not really making me grow or making me see different perspectives. And yeah, that's what I like to do, working with people, because that's also how I learn the most. That's the first part of my answer.
Amazing. Love it. And
And yeah,
I'm so keen to hear about your ship story.
okay.
So how did you get to this place from, you went to university and then, now you're like a trainer, you also coach, I think. Hmm?
That's
So
true.
how did you get to this place where you are today?
Mhm. I've been a trainer for several years now. I've been working in NGO before, and that's where I really sparked my interest about training. Originally, actually, I come from social work.
Hmm.
That's where I'm coming from. I think it's always important to get to know people better. And my first year of work 10 years ago was actually in psychiatric clinic.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I thought
Somehow I
maybe
didn't
that's
read
the
that.
start.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Because
Yeah.
it's so different. It's an experience most people, like luckily, never do, right? Um, it's and this made me very humble, and I realized what it is that keeps us upright, that keeps us motivated, that keeps us in a flow. It is the real connection and taking responsibility. That's what I learned very early on. Yeah,
Hmm.
but also being in this social system, I was part of the system representing like Germany's social welfare system, and to some kind also I tried to break free from that and see myself in different roles. That's when I considered to do a master's studies afterwards,
Hmm.
which was very related to psychology, actually. A lot of diagnosis, talking about topics like talent, like expertise, like intelligence, and creating learning environments throughout the whole lifespan, fostering competence development. And I knew right away that's it, what I want to do, because then I can work with people who also want to work with me, who have intrinsic motivation, yeah, who are willing to learn. And yeah, basically in pandemic, I thought, what the heck? Why not? I should see something else maybe before the next pandemic hits. Yeah, I should try something and get out of my rut and yeah, broaden my comfort zone. And yeah, wanted to see like-minded people, which I couldn't physically meet during the pandemic. That's why I thought, okay, why not giving it a try? Starting as a training manager on board of a ship, where I can get more in depth of intercultural communication, because that's what I've been missing before.
Hmm. Do you happen to have a very interesting cultural mishap, a little culture class story for us? You can also talk about, what you did on board, etc. For our viewers, I'm sure it's going to be really different than the normal global mobility talks that we have here. Although it's totally global mobility,
That's
just on a
true.
ship.
Just on a ship.
Yeah.
So I was, you can really say, an in-house trainer on board or in-ship trainer. So I
Yeah.
was not external trainer being hired to come there for a day and then leaving the company again. Yeah, I was part of the crew, living on board always for several months, with working 7 days a week. So I was always visible to the crew, and the other way around. People knew me, and I tried to act as a role model. Yeah, because basically there was no free time off. So that was the first, I think, challenge for
Hmm.
a trainer, how to act. Yeah, when as soon as I open my door to my room, like I'm always on a stage, basically, even if I'm just meeting people on the floor. There I met people from more than 60 different nationalities. Yeah.
Hmm.
And the crew size was between 300 to 1,500 crew member per ship. What I did was responsible for personal development, for their career paths, for competence tests, for onboarding, for all these cultural awareness topics, but also giving trainings regarding soft skills and leadership. And that's what I love the most. Obviously, the content we're talking about. I'm very excited about personal development, about communication, giving feedback, self-management, all these things, you name it. But also like practicing being a good and neutral observer. How do we Germans do it? How do people from India, from Indonesia, from Ethiopia, from Hungary do it? And holding the room was really a special kind of task, handling group dynamics, accepting also the fact of maybe not being liked, which I think is very important as a trainer. It is an advantage to be liked, but it's not always needed for the participants to have a training success. And so my task was basically to give a lot of learning time to the participants, and a stage for others, not for myself. And juggling these ambiguities and different needs was really a tough job, but this challenge really motivated me. So I have lots of stories to share, don't know actually where to start, but just being there and experiencing the small society on a ship like it is on a big globe was very fascinating.
I'm sure you could write novels.
Indeed.
That would
I
be
should
actually cool.
start.
I recently read a novel of somebody who was like on working as like a very low person on a ship. I forgot the title. Somebody gave it to me. I don't know why. I think we talked about cruises, doing a cruise, and then he gave me that book as a lecture before. But what I wanted to say, I think maybe in addition to that intercultural component with having so many different nationalities on board, I'm assuming you also, you served clients. You had like, the guests on the ship. But at the same time, I'm sure there were a lot of status differences. That's actually quite good in that book. So, that even among the staff, I always think like, for example, in a kitchen has a very strong hierarchy, or a hospital. Whereas, like in the world that we normally operate in GlobalMobility, we're talking usually about corporates, and there is a hierarchy, sure, but it's a different kind of a hierarchy. Because everybody's sort of on a very educated level. And, like when we criticize the theories of interculturalism, the early theories, what we often criticize is that the sample was of an educated, professional population. Yeah. So it's, it doesn't take into account the person who peels the potatoes, basically. But in the reality, also like here in Switzerland, for example, in the reality that we're facing now, true interculturalism and, working as an intercultural leader very often happens in these environments. They are very stressful, like hospitals, kitchens, yeah. And at the same time, stressful and hierarchical, and it's top-down hierarchy. Like it's not a big discussion about what to do. It's like, yes, chef. Yeah. Did you
That's
also
true.
have this experience when you were there as a trainer? And I'm sure
When
you had a high status already with, with your background.
Yes, I had these experiences 24/7,
Yeah.
and having an officer position in a white uniform while
Mhm.
being one of the few women on board was very exotic. So
Yeah.
also these questions of power, who has the power, the
Yeah.
formal or the informal power,
Yeah.
challenging one of the older leaders on board with my new, like fresh or innovative out of the box thinking. Yeah. It's not always bringing friends, but it's like sparking curiosity. So, as you said, the mentality in the kitchen and the galley is quite different. Also, in housekeeping, I realized people have a lot to do. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I'm coming saying, hi, I'm like the white female studied academic. I have some ideas how we can improve things. Yeah, that's not the best idea to deal with these things, like with pointing your finger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to meet on eye level, but for sure, I need to admit that I'm white collar, right? I'm not blue collar, and I'm a knowledge worker.
Mm-hmm.
And all people on board actually have a safety role as well. So in some contexts, actually, this military hierarchy makes sense, I must admit, which I didn't knew before in some situations
Yeah.
regarding safety on board. Yeah,
Yeah.
ensuring everybody feels good, feels they have somebody they can talk to in some sort of crisis, if they have emotional sufferings, whatever it is. Yeah. So I was also responsible for a practice for every week evacuating 600 crew member in case of, for example, a fire. And it was a usual drill we practiced every week so that every crew member knew what to do when which sound signal will appear. I need to go to this and this place in the ship. I need to bring maybe my life jacket. I need to be prepared, and I need to be approachable to the guests. And practicing these things, you really recognize, like, no matter where we're from, no matter the nationality, no matter the rank, no matter if you're the dishwasher or the captain, everybody is system relevant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody. So you totally rely on each other.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's a burden, but actually, if you can feel the lightness of it, sharing the responsibility, and you can trust other people, not taking yourself too important, then the whole clockwork is working actually.
Wow.
Mhm.
I'm sure you had a steep learning curve. Do you ever regret
About
any choice?
relationships in the end, right? What
Yeah.
can I tell you? In the end, it's just about relationships.
Yeah.
Being responsible for these evacuation exercises, I knew some colleagues that had the same position than me. They had a big speaker and they shouted, "Okay, everybody, like, on the drill, like 3, 2, 1, let's go in line to this staircase, whatever." And I had a totally different approach, and that's good that people handle things differently. And I knew who are the responsible person I can trust, and I just said, maybe I just showed them some gestures. I told them, okay, let's go. I trust you, and you can lead your team, and you can lead your team. And for me, that was the easiest way. But everybody handles differently. And afterwards, we said, okay, we finished. Thank God. Whew, high five. Okay, let's get back to housekeeping. Let's get back to the kitchen.
And are you applying some of the learning that you had as a trainer in your leadership development trainings? Because that would be just, very obvious to do.
That's true. I'm much more sensitive how I communicate and
Uh-huh.
when I communicate, right? I feel like traveling is a real luxury for most people on the planet. But the more we travel, the more we feel our own nationality, right? So when I meet with people from other countries, I realize how on point, how on time, how efficient I strive to be,
Yeah.
even if it's not needed in this context. So yeah, regarding communication, regarding giving feedback, and also norms and hierarchy in different countries, that's a real difference, right? And the loss of face for people. We don't know it in Germany so much. The fear of being sanctioned, the fear of saying something which other people might not like to hear, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not a person who's giving you information right into your face, right? I think important feedback, important new ideas, changes and processes and standards needs to be implemented in a sensitive manner. And I learned that a lot. What are your thoughts about this?
I love it. I just I was just reflecting on a conversation I had yesterday. But yeah, when I worked in India, I need to tell you the story. One of the things that surprised me probably the most in the beginning was when we we did a leadership development session. So I was just there to observe as the HR leadership development responsible, and I thought, so yeah, it was so, like from my perspective. I had done, like, I've been sitting in training sessions before to test trainers. So I wasn't 100% convinced, that this was amazing. But I thought, well, maybe it's also a bit of a cultural difference, etc. But then the participants wanted to give feedback. I said, okay, give feedback. And then they were like, yeah, but the trainer has to be out of the room. So, they didn't want the poor trainer to lose face in front of them. So they wanted to give me the feedback as the company representative, but without, hurting the person. And yeah, so for me at the time, that was a big learning about, protecting also face.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Well, great stuff, Josephine. Is it
By the way,
Josephine or Josephine?
Josephine is fine. Thank
Yeah,
you for asking.
sorry, what?
Also, I've been to India this year, actually, to Mumbai and
Uh-huh.
Goa. And what I realized is I'm trying to practice their way of communicating by body language. So maybe you've seen the shaking of heads. I think that's something, right? Which can have 10 different meanings.
Yeah, and it's not only that I've seen this. I mean, like when you're in a country for a while, you adapt. It happened to me after a few weeks that I started to wobble my head. I
Great.
couldn't even stop myself, it just happened.
That's great.
And it's a bit different according to area as well. So, in some areas they don't even do that. So
Yes.
yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Mm.
Especially when they say yes. And it's like, yes.
Yeah.
It's funny
Mhm.
for us. Yeah.
Funny for us, yeah, but very insightful as well. Yeah. And I can give you one more example, which I realized when working with different leaders on board and different nationalities. Obviously, we have the male-dominated departments like the machine, like the engine, where
Uh-huh.
the engineers are working, or on the bridge, also mostly male-dominated. Yeah, whereas mostly in housekeeping or entertainment, it's mostly female, right? And not only do male and female have different communication skills, but also nationalities, right? So when practicing leaders how to give feedback to their team members, I realized like, oh, there are way more differences than I can see in German leaders.
Yeah.
For example, if a crew member is not on time, is always too late, and
Yeah.
you want to address that topic, right? How do you address it? What are the best words to find? Or do you, as a leader, rather coach a crew member and ask out of curiosity, how come you're too late? Can you explain, like, what's the reason behind it? Maybe I can help you being on time. Maybe you're not finding the way. Maybe you're not sleeping well, whatever it is. Let me help you, right? And Italian engineer probably would rather raise his voice and say, you're too loud, and that's affecting your work. I'm not happy. Be on time tomorrow. Otherwise, we will have a serious conversation, right? And colleague, other leader from Indonesia, might be frustrated as well, but for sure he will cover it in more harmonious words. For us, maybe more sugarcoating like, but in a more respectful manner from on eye level. Yeah, he would say, I'd like you to reconsider your time management. Maybe you want to try this and this time management skill. Let's work on it together. While he actually means, you're too late and I'm angry. Right? Same intention, but totally different outcome. And I was very positively impressed.
Very good. And you're not that old yet, but do you have a good tip for a younger version of yourself? Maybe just coming out of university, looking into getting into learning and development, training. What would you advise a younger version of you?
I think it all starts to where you want to be, right? What you want to do. And that's the most important question. And I think it's never ending.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a very practical tip, actually.
Mm-hmm.
No matter in which industry you work, structure your knowledge. I feel like when our careers grow, we get to know a lot of new things, new information, new people, new tools, new person, new standards and processes. And some of them may be useful in the short run, but many might be helpful also in the long run and maybe inspire you even some years later. And especially in learning and development and as a trainer, you have a lot of tools and methods, right? And sometimes it's too much to keep it in your head. And I find like actually when looking back, I've been gathering all these different tools and things that I'm inspired by, even if it's just quotes, yeah. Since I was maybe 15, 20 years old,
Mm-hmm.
I started just continuously writing them down. So do whatever is easiest for you, which makes it possible for you to remember and then also to talk about it with other people and be a role model and get new information and exchanges. So if there is just even a slighter chance, you might be able to use this information later. And it's a big amount of information. Take notes, even if it's just digital in the cloud, if it's on a piece of paper, whatever it is. Otherwise, you might feel overwhelmed and might forget so many interesting things. And that's just a shame because maybe you want to pass this information to other people. So it makes your life easier and other people will see your knowledge as well.
That's fantastic. Great. A great tip. I don't think we had that yet.
Also, I'm not an expert in this yet, but I'm highly aware of it.
You're getting there.
I'm getting there. It's a process.
If you're interested, I'm not going to do this on YouTube, but I can show you my inventory, how I structure my content. If you're interested, we can set up a separate call.
I would love to.
We started that 2 years ago because it was just getting too much, to remember. So I have this like huge spreadsheet because most of my clients are one-on-one coaching clients online. So I cannot really give them a lecture on something because that's not what coaching is about. But when they want to learn a new concept or a model, like whatever, situational leadership or transactional analysis, or if they want to learn something like that, then I can just create a little handout for them where they get the basic information, and then they know how to Google and use Perplexity or whatever it is called, Perplexity,
Yes.
ChatGPT, and all these. So they know how to Google when they know what to look for. Yeah, and then also we create worksheets, etc. So yeah, but I think that's a really good tip. I also wanted to ask you, because you mentioned earlier the importance of human relationships, and you probably know that this is a topic that is very close to my heart. It's almost like, and I honestly only started to believe in this when I moved to India. Before that, I didn't really know the importance of relationships. I mean, maybe intuitively, but not, it was not something that I was very aware of, if you know what I mean. So how do you build relationships, and what is important for you in a professional context?
So nowadays, we knowledge worker, we're all on LinkedIn, right? I need to address this topic because I feel that's a place where we all gather. And I love to network with like-minded people on LinkedIn, obviously. That's how we connected. But does LinkedIn represent our society itself with all the diversity? I don't think so, right? It's a niche. So what I did, for example, I contacted another trainer on LinkedIn. And first of all, she didn't react. She didn't reply to my text. And I said, hey, no worries. I just want to talk to like-minded people. Maybe we can learn from each other, meet for a coffee. I don't want to sell any product or service to you. And then she was so surprised, said, hey, okay, thank God you don't want to sell anything to me. Okay, let's meet. So yeah, over summer we meet 3 times. And it's really nice, like having a partner in crime, talking about trainings, for example. Also, there are several neighborhood and community apps here in my town, which
Yeah.
for sure also in other towns. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I met with another girl working in learning and development. She is from Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
And in private, I like to be sporty, go to the gym. And there I met with a girl. She's from Nepal. We met for a coffee. Why not? So I think being open to the possibility that these unintended connections might become also professional connections in the future. I think that's very important. Yeah? And for sure, you might have many more followers and connections than I do, because also, yeah, I'm just starting with intentionally connecting, right? But I feel like you need to do it in an organic way. Otherwise, if you're forcing something, it's not authentic, right? Being in networks in your own niche, in your own branch. I'm in different HR collective networks.
Yeah.
I'm in female networks. I'm in mentoring networks. I'm taking classes and educate myself. For example, yesterday I visited an event in my town here in Leipzig. It's called HR Innovation Days, where we talk about the importance of artificial intelligence in human resources in the next years. So, and having an approachable manner, talking to people, gathering up, meeting for a coffee, I think just sticking to it and making it a priority.
Ah, fantastic.
What do you think?
No, I think absolutely right. You also have to remember that I'm about 20 years older than you, right? So I had more time to build a network.
Right.
But there's also a difference between having followers and
Mhm.
having real connections.
Mhm.
And I think, if you don't really work with your connections, you might as well not have them. I mainly use my network for my clients. So,
Mhm.
like what I'm expecting my network to do is if one of my clients contacts them, that
Mhm.
they're supportive. But not everybody's on LinkedIn all the time.
Mhm.
So, like I would say for me, like real relationships, they build over time, but also through interaction. Meaning, like with the people that I work with as partners, for example, brand
Mhm.
partners, we meet at least once a year in person. Or, if we can't meet in person because we're in different locations, we make it a point to have like a coffee chat at least once a year. So, like, I think the important thing is also that you find reasons to collaborate and not just be connected officially somewhere on a tool. And that's sometimes where I feel like, there's room for improvement. And also, what you said is often people reaching out to you on such platforms like online
Mhm.
platforms, very often they just want to sell something.
Mhm.
So I have some good experiences of people reaching out to me to, get my expertise. And I enjoy doing that. I enjoy giving advice on whatever. Like, maybe they're planning to build a tool or something. I enjoy these kind of conversations, but I
Mhm.
really need to have the feeling, that it's not in order to sell me something, but really in order, to get my expertise on the topic. So I would say, like there's probably a bit of a, you need to sift through the traffic a bit.
Agree.
And then the other thing is creating, like
Mhm.
what is your, like, when you have a deeper purpose, like, building a business or building a huge community, maybe creating is more important to you than networking or building a network. Yeah. But also, I guess associations are a good way to get started, especially in HR, like collectives, HR associations, exchange forums. In Switzerland, we call them Alpha-Gruppe, Erfahrungsaustauschgruppe. Yeah, these
Okay.
kind of things. Yeah. Awesome. Now, tell us, do you have anything exciting coming up, like an event or anything you want to talk about?
There's something I want to highlight, which has nothing to do with learning and development, but something that's really close to my heart.
Uh-huh.
And that's a big organization called Teach for All. Maybe you have heard from them. I'm not sure. But it's something I want to promote because it's a big community of basically community-driven people who want to reinvent our educational systems worldwide. And the big platform is called Teach for All. But I'm sure they have a smaller company in all countries where you listeners are being right now. They have thousands of smaller branches. I've been working in this company in Germany called Teach First Deutschland, Teach First Germany. Yeah, and our goal is to reorganize school as it is, to give power to the students and to their resources, to their network, right? Because most students, even they don't know they have a network yet, even if it's just the bigger brother, the friendly neighbor, other friends from the football club, they can ask for help. So I don't think network needs to be a bad trigger word. Even kids have networks. So let's make these networks visible and support these kids, especially in schools where the neighborhood has maybe low income, where parents don't have big resources, but have long working hours. So we need to send more talented and purpose-driven people to these neighborhoods. And I feel like they're doing huge, amazing things worldwide. And it's really a pleasure gathering with them, even if it's just digitally, and see how other people see education. And I think kids are the future. And I think we should be aware that there are a lot of opportunities to participate right now, if you like.
Well, that's fantastic, Josephine. So we will add a link here in the show notes to this organization. And if people have any questions about it, or if generally they want to talk to you about anything, can they contact you on LinkedIn referring to this Red Couch Talk?
Please, I'm
Not to
welcoming
sell
you.
you something, but just to have a chat.
If it's something nice, I'm interested. Let's see, yeah. But
Free
please,
chocolate is acceptable.
always.
Cool. And let me know if you ever come to Zurich.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we just missed each other in Leipzig. Yeah.
But I will be in your beautiful country Christmas. So it's just 3 weeks ago, in 3 weeks, because my mom lives in Switzerland. So
Awesome.
let's see. I will pass by.
Then maybe we can have a real life coffee chat.
I would
Awesome.
love that.
Have a great day. It was beautiful to talk to you, and all the best with all your endeavors.
And have a nice day and happy Christmas season to everybody.
Thank you. Wonderful. Bye, Josephine.
Bye bye.